Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, more questions regarding the Corporation Commission, this time involving misinformation on public records requests. And we'll talk about the increasing shortage of school teachers in the state. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. The contempt of court hearing against Sheriff Joe Arpaio continued today, with Arpaio's chief deputy saying that he doesn't remember hearing about court orders that he and Arpaio admittedly violated. Chief Deputy Jerry Sheridan testified that he likely received but did not remember opening any email involving a preliminary injunction that blocked the MCSO's illegal immigration enforcement. Sheriff's Department continued that enforcement for a year and a half after being ordered to stop. But Sheridan today maintained that the violation was inadvertent and not willful. Another day, another troubling revelation regarding the Arizona Corporation Commission. The latest incident involves the commission responding to a public records request with inaccurate and incomplete information. Ryan Randazzo of the Arizona Republic broke the story. He joins us now. It's good to have you here. Thanks for being here. Omitting emails on a public records request and more?
Well, these guys are under so much scrutiny right now. Every media outlet in the state is trying to figure out what Bob Stump was texting last year during the election, and was he helping coordinate this outside political spending to get two other commissioners elected. So they know they're facing this scrutiny. They had what should have been a pretty routine records request from the Checks and Balances Project in DC, and oddly, they didn't fulfill that request. When they responded, they didn't turn over all of the emails that were being sought. And so Checks and Balances asked again, and the second time they asked, they got more records. It just really is a black eye, because it just sort of shows some incompetence somewhere that they didn't answer the question the first time.
Incompetence or something else here? What kind of response are we getting from the Corporation Commission?
That's almost more troubling, because 2 days after we brought this information to their attention, they still don't have an excuse as to why they didn't fulfill their legal obligation to fulfill the request on the first time. I think most reasonable people would forgive an innocent mistake if that's what this was, but they don't have a reason why these emails weren't turned over the first time. And then when we did see the emails in the second response, we learned that we had been given misinformation for months about what type of phone Commissioner Stump used. So you have all these media outlets trying to access what he sent from his iPhone 3, and we learned that he didn't have an iPhone 3. So possibly all the records requests media outlets have sent have been misdirected at the wrong phone.
Interesting, because some people will say, who cares if it's an iPhone 3 or a 4? It's a phone, and that thing is gone anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, he threw that thing away, and that's part of the trouble, is we can't access the text messages that he sent from that. They would be a government document. They should be subject to review like any government document through our state public records law, but he threw the phone away, so we don't get to see those text messages. His next phone is in the possession of the Attorney General's office for inspection, related to a different investigation of the commission. So we're all waiting to see if they can retrieve some of the deleted text messages on that phone.
Now also, you're reporting that a tablet, an air card that connects a laptop to the internet, these other devices should have been at least reported in the public records request, and they weren't?
They probably should have been disclosed. The commission hired an outside attorney to respond to the records request earlier this year. So they brought in outside help so that they could do this properly. That attorney has sent letters describing this iPhone 3 that apparently never existed, and never mentioned that there was also a tablet and an air card. Now, I don't know if there were separate messages sent from those devices that the media should now be looking for. We're all a little bit confused as to why we were given misinformation for months from the commission regarding what devices he used.
The penalty for not complying with, or properly complying with, a public records request, what are we talking about here?
Well, someone could sue for attorney's fees, and frankly, I'm surprised Checks and Balances hasn't done that yet, because they've got an attorney working for them, and they've filed, I think, probably 15 or so records requests there. They have never gotten the records they've sought. I'm surprised that they haven't gone and filed an action seeking damages.
You know, we've had you on the show a couple of times for this now, and we talk about this almost on a weekly, if not daily basis. The Corporation Commission, which was a little-known agency, and it always has been kind of quiet doing its business there, is just a mess. I think that's the definition here. Give us an overview. We just had Commissioner Bob Burns on last night talking about he wants to get rid of the dark money aspect of it. That is just one part of just a big old quagmire.
Yeah, it's something new every day, unfortunately. That's why they probably should have complied with this records request and not given themselves another unintentional black eye here. But you have 5 commissioners. 2 of them now are facing complaints at the Attorney General's office seeking their removal from office because they're registered lobbyists. One is Susan Bittersmith, who has continued to lobby for Cox Communications and other cable groups while serving as a regulator. The second is Robert Burns, who you had on your show last night. He says he was mistakenly listed as a lobbyist for a cable group, but he continues to be a registered lobbyist today. He said he's asked to be taken off of that list, but that's at minimum a technical violation of the law, and so there's a complaint filed today seeking his removal. The other 3 commissioners face challenges that they are too biased to do their job and to set rates for APS, because APS, the state's biggest utility, is thought to have helped 2 of them win office. And then finally, Commissioner Stump has got the issue with his text messages being sought. We know that he did text with APS officials and the candidates leading up to the election last year, and the solar industry has asked that he not participate in APS rate hearings either.
And you've got former commissioners who are coming out saying regarding the recused issue that people are biased and shouldn't be involved. You got another former commissioner who's involved with a cell phone incident from a while. I mean, and we talked to Commissioner Burns about this. The integrity of the commission seems to be at stake here and doesn't look good.
No, it's taken a beating, and I think they're all quite aware of that and trying to address that while doing the job at the same time. And that's what makes what would normally be a small issue, this records request that was not complied with, that would normally not be a big deal, but considering the attention that's on them, they should have gotten this right.
Okay, so we talked to Commissioner Burns. It was before this complaint was filed. We did not know that when we had him on the air. That was filed after we had. So he's now facing a complaint. Where does he go from there? Where does Bittersmith, Commissioner Bittersmith, go from there? She's got a couple of complaints against her. Where do they go next? What's happening?
Well, particularly with Bittersmith, I don't believe that she's going to resign from office. She has been out front with what her side jobs are from when she started campaigning. She does not think that she has an actual conflict of interest, although many people from the outside who have started looking at this believe that she does have that conflict. So it'll be interesting to see how many people join the chorus asking her to leave office. Robert Burns, I think people tend to believe his story. No one filed a complaint until today, and the person filing the complaint has been at odds with the commission for years over smart meters. He feels that the commissioners have been very biased towards APS and allowing them to install smart meters around the state, and so now he sees this violation on Robert Burns and is seeking his removal.
I remember that. I think this individual has been on the smart meter campaign for quite a while, hasn't he? And as far as the idea that some of these commissioners are biased, we've got that. What's next with that charge or that complaint?
Well, I'm sure that they're not going to recuse themselves from these votes. They campaigned to do a job, and that's the biggest part of their job, is deciding the rates for the state's largest utility. So I strongly doubt that they're going to recuse themselves. We'll see what the commission staff says about that.
And last question, how involved is the AG's office in all of this? What do they have right now? What are they going forward with?
Well, I'd be surprised if the AG's office has time to do much else besides investigate corporation commissioners right now, because they've got one's phone, they've got 3 different complaints to remove commissioners from office. So we're all waiting to see if the Attorney General is going to take these seriously.
Dictionary definition of a mess. Ryan, great reporting. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Tonight's look at Arizona education focuses on how the state is facing a teacher shortage and what can be done about it. Currently, Arizona has about 1,000 teaching positions that need to be filled, and a recent State Department of Education study shows an increasing number of teachers are leaving the state. Producer Shauna Fisher and photographer Ed Kishel show us how the teaching shortage is affecting one Phoenix elementary school.
When students walk into this classroom for the first day of school, it will also be their teacher's first day.
This will be my first year teaching, and I am teaching first grade.
After spending 6 years as an administrative assistant, Jade Murray followed her heart and became a teacher.
I'm looking forward to just building that relationship with them and fostering that love of learning and trying to emulate those teachers that I had growing up, because what I want is for when they look back and they think of school, that they think of, first grade, or they think fondly about those first years of school.
But she also has some trepidation about what lies ahead.
I think the thing that makes me the most nervous about my first year is just that unknown. I've done all the school, I've done student teaching, I've done all these things, but now it's kind of like I'm being kicked from the nest and it's time for me to fly all by myself.
And while Jade will be there for her students, she has someone in her corner too, her principal, Johnny Brownlee.
The challenges for a first-year teacher are really the support and knowing how to work through difficulties with either parents, but also getting to know the curriculum and feeling comfortable and confident with being able to deliver that to 30 children or 25 children who are all looking up to the teacher for guidance.
Brownlee has 2 first-time teachers this year, and while Whispering Wind Elementary is fully staffed, the statewide teacher shortage has impacted the school.
This past year, we actually had a teacher who left our building and our school because of finances. Also, we had explored opportunities with bringing in teachers from other states, and once those teachers found out how much schools in Arizona were able to offer her, she had to decline.
And not only will it get harder to fill vacant spots, a recent Arizona Department of Education study shows it's getting harder to retain teachers. 24% of first-year teachers left their positions in 2014. Jade acknowledges the road ahead will have ups and downs, but she is determined to make a difference.
I've kind of always wanted to be a teacher because my elementary teachers when I was growing up were very nurturing, and so when I look back on my life, first and second grade were kind of like those pivotal years where I really found the love of learning. And I also always wanted to do a job that meant something.
Brownlee says the teacher shortage is not just an issue in the classroom and not just an issue that affects parents.
Truthfully, if we as a society want to rely on Social Security, things like that, we need an economy filled with skilled, educated people, whether they're a garbage man or whether they're some professor at ASU. We need people to have opportunity, and the only way that happens is if they do get a good education.
Joining us now to discuss Arizona's teacher shortage is Arizona Education Association President Andrew Morrill and Jennifer Johnson, the Executive Director of Support Our Schools Arizona. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Good evening.
This business of the teacher shortage, why? What's going on out there? Why is this happening?
Arizona policy direction over about the last 6 to 8 years has put teachers on a very shaky 4-legged stool. Just quickly, the compensation that actually is so bad, teachers are paying to stay in the profession they love compared to earlier years of salary. The working conditions, which have removed supports at the same time that we're heaping on expectations, in some cases very good expectations of students. Third, a toxic testing environment where too many decisions are being made tied to a single test score. And then a punish and perish evaluation system which does nothing to actually support better performance, but is all about sort of punishing the easy few.
And I want to get to each of those in a second here, but do you agree, are those major issues? Because, I mean, lots of folks grow up wanting to be a teacher, and now we're finding that they become a teacher, they leave Arizona. What's going on with that?
Right. I would certainly echo Andrew's comments. I think certainly compensation is an issue when you think about the qualifications and the skill sets that Arizona teachers bring to the service in their classroom. Those are competitive skills that they could market in other ways for far greater compensation. We have to come to grips with that in terms of competition. Secondly, we know that teachers need support. They deserve support in the classroom, and with slashing school budgets, schools are finding it harder and harder to provide the necessary support. So absent the kind of support, teachers get discouraged and frustrated when decisions are made around single test scores or evaluation systems that aren't fully developed or fully resourced. And third, and quite frankly, from a parental perspective, it's about the level of public respect that we pay to the profession. Teachers never entered the profession hoping to get rich. They are willing to put up with the challenges and meet the expectations placed on them, but they want to do so in a community that values what they do.
How do you elevate the public perception of educators?
Well, I taught high school English for about 17 years down on the northwest side of Tucson in the Marana district. There are a number of ways. Engagement by the community. Talk to teachers. For folks just to come into our schools, talk to teachers and ask, what are the challenges you're facing? Because something that the reformers don't normally understand or talk about, what's good for teachers and what's good for students in a classroom are virtually the same thing. Engaged parents, voting community members, folks that attend governing board meetings, see what's happening in their schools. The other thing, though, is we're going to have to apply some principles in the private sector that aren't often talked about. For instance, one of the things that you do to raise the value of a profession is you increase compensation, you increase supports. That we have to kind of apply some principles of value the way we do in other professions.
I hear a lot about low pay for teachers. What is the pay range for Arizona teachers? What are we looking at here, general terms?
Starting salary is somewhere in the $30,000, $31,000. Probably the highest paid, most experienced, highest credentialed teacher is somewhere in the $60,000.
It's true.
range.
One of the things that people don't think about, there are thousands and thousands of teachers in Arizona who have been teaching more than 15 years, no comma in their paycheck. Now you think about that. They are 15 years or more into the classroom, there's no comma in that paycheck. And so what happens is the profession that they love, a value-based profession, they leave in debt and they leave in tears. And it's happened more than once that I've talked to a teacher that said, I want to stay because my kids need me. They're not talking about their own children. They're talking about the students in their classroom, but they can't afford to stay in the profession.
Or they leave in tears or in frustration, or they just leave. They go somewhere. I mean, how does Arizona, the pay scale, compare to other states?
Bottom of the list. Probably.
Bottom of the list?
Bottom of the list. Which is appropriate because we're last in per pupil funding. We're last in terms of the portion of our own state economy that we apply toward public education. So we are at the bottom of every good list when it comes to matching our rhetoric for the importance of educators with how we actually treat them, how we actually try to retain them.
Classroom resources, problems that teachers face there, can that be improved?
It can. I think with an investment in public education in Arizona, a modest investment, we can devote more resources to the classroom in forms of teacher mentors. We know that that makes a tremendous difference in attracting teachers to the profession and in keeping them in the classroom and in protecting that investment. Materials, access to technology, time is a resource. Time for teachers to work together in professional learning communities and do the kinds of things we want them to do.
Andrew mentioned a toxic testing environment. Talk about the testing requirements and the impact of those requirements on teachers. And the fact, we've heard teaching to the test for years now, but are teachers able to just give a well-rounded education these days?
Well, I can tell you what it felt like. I mean, I started teaching in 1988. I was elected into an office to represent the profession in 2004. Over that amount of time, and especially after No Child Left Behind, fewer and fewer decisions were made in the classroom, fewer and fewer decisions made by governing boards, which are elected out of the community of taxpayers, one of the essential principles of a district public school, and more were made at the state level, more were made at the federal level, and more were tied to standardized test scores.
And we keep moving here regarding the teachers coming and going. There are a lot of older teachers now who are ready to retire, correct?
Correct. Over 25% of the current educators in Arizona are eligible to retire in less than 4 years.
Impact of the lack of experience of teachers coming in.
Huge issue.
and alternative certification programs. And remember, there are two schools of thought. One says if you want to elevate the profession and increase retention, put supports in, as Dr. Johnson's described, do something with the compensation that's meaningful more than rhetorical. But the other school of thought that Arizona's played with is lower the bar, lower the qualification indicators, do away with certification, pretend that it's a series of hoops rather than a set of quality indicators for who we want in our classrooms.
How do you, though, streamline without losing perspective here of what a teacher should be qualified to do?
You compromise one of the essential qualifications. There are three: academic mastery of the content area you're teaching, the proof that you actually know how to take that content area and teach it, and then a clinical supervision we call student teaching or field experience. Some of those have to go in an alternative certification program. If you shorten, you shortchange.
You agree with that?
I do, and Arizona has tried alternative certification in the past with very little success. There are not long lines of people waiting to become teachers in Arizona. We've created an environment where it's very challenging for someone to actually publicly admit, I want to be a teacher. And so alternative certification has been around. We've tried it. I was a superintendent. In fact, I was a high school principal at the time that Arizona began to implement alternative certification. And there were not hordes of people coming in, and quite frankly, when they did get in, without extraordinary efforts to support them, they didn't stay.
This is really important.
And that's not going, just bringing lots of new teachers in isn't the solution to the problem. It's bringing the right teachers in and being able to have an environment that keeps them in the classroom.
And doesn't that circle back to the public perception again? People think teachers do X, Y, and Z, when in reality it's more of an A, B, and C?
Well, one of the things that everybody in schools who's working, teaching for a number of years comes to be familiar with is the fact that most of the public went through schools, and so they sort of retain a kind of expertise. Look, I sat in classrooms, and yeah, I faced the opposite direction of the teacher, but I kind of know what's involved in teaching. It's changed a great deal, and it's changing rapidly now. But the point that Dr. Johnson's making bears repeating. Alternative certification programs bring people in faster, but they don't stay because they lack some of the essential preparation.
All right, we've talked about some things that can be politically addressed. They certainly are being politically talked about right now. The concept, though, of more education, is it politically feasible right now to get that increased funding? And if not, how do you move forward? How do you get better?
I do think a substantial number of Arizona parents and Arizona taxpayers who don't have children in school are willing to make the investment that it takes to bring our teacher compensation in line and to solve this problem. They are willing to make that investment, and they want and expect their policymakers to make those kinds of decisions.
You agree with that?
I do. The Gallup polling that came out recently says that one of the things parents say most is fund our schools, pay teachers what it takes to keep them, because they know, just as they know that their students are more than test scores, they know that good educators in our classrooms are what their students need. And voters in the year 2000 in Arizona said we want our districts to keep up with inflation costs so they can at least keep their heads above water. We know we're in a lawsuit about that. Let's hope it resolves quickly and we put money where it needs to be.
Yes or no? Arizona is facing a crisis in education.
Arizona is facing a shortage of people willing to teach under the current conditions. We actually have thousands of folks holding certificates. They are unwilling to teach in the conditions that we've created.
Is that a yes or a no?
You decide.
Okay. Yes or no? Are we facing a crisis in education here in the state?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are teachers, there are classrooms that are not being filled by the kinds of teachers we aspire to have for our children, and there are teachers who are leaving once the school year starts, and those are issues, but there are solutions. So it's not just about, is there a crisis, and the conversation stops there. It is, there are solutions within our grasp.
Very quickly.
The thousands of teachers that are staying in our schools are part of the story too. We have great folks. We need to keep them.
All right. Thank you both so much. Good conversation. That's it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Helios Education Foundation is proud to underwrite Arizona Education, a 12-month series highlighting the issues affecting college and career readiness of our students. Through a decade of strategic partnerships, Helios is working to change lives and strengthen communities through education.